Hi, my name is Filippa. Welcome to my channel Awkward the Talk, where I give parents the encouragement, knowledge, and tools to provide their children with sexual education. Today's topic is mindful sexual education. What is it about? So, first, I'd like to say that all of us have received some form of sexual education. Now, most of us have received inadequate sexual education that is based on silence, fear, and shame. But it was an education nonetheless. It did teach us, and it did condition the way we feel about ourselves and others. And so sexual education happens from the moment we are born, from the moment we start interacting with ourselves, our bodies, and the outside world. When we're born, it's basically our parents, but how we relate to others. So from the moment parents start interacting with this baby, they are already teaching them how to feel loved and how to love, and how to expect love to be expressed towards them. So in mindful sexual education, what we are trying to do is that we're trying to be intentional about this education that is continuous, and it cannot be interrupted, right? So we are doing and saying things with intentionality behind them. You know, we have an idea of what we would want our children to experience in terms of sexual education, and the sexual education that is given has this goal in mind. So it is intentional, right? It is also a reflection of parents' understanding of why they feel the way they feel about certain subjects that fall within this category, be it bodies, feelings, or sex. So children from a very early age will learn from you, parents, how to love and be loved. And that is the basis and the very beginning of sexual education. And then it is up to you to make it intentional, factual, but fun and playful as well. So here what we are promoting is that this sexual education is done, again, intentionally. I can't emphasize this enough, because I really do feel like when it is intentional, then parents go out and they educate themselves on the subjects. They might be overwhelmed with, the crazy amount of information that is out there now. That is, a lot of it is contradicting. But you're taking that first step of going and searching and, embracing your role in your child's development, and in this very specific side of development, right? So the other thing is, it is important that we are aware of our bodies and aware of our feelings. So mindful sexual education is also understanding this body that we have and how it functions and how incredible it is. So it is important that children feel that way too, that you pass on this message that this incredible, unique body that they're in has all these functions, and all these body parts do different things that help them have a fulfilled life. So when we talk about body positivity, we're not just talking about being kind to ourselves about our bodies, but actually understanding our bodies. The same way that when we are talking about body parts, or in sexual education, we're not just talking about genitals and how they function and how people have sex and make babies. No. So it is important that your child knows the real names for these body parts that are the genitals, you know, the testicles, the penis, the the vagina, the vulva, and they understand what the function of these body parts is, because we wouldn't hide what the function of the eye is from a child, right? You know, your little eye is for seeing, and your little mouth is for eating and talking and giving kisses to mommy and things like that. That's how you would explain what the functions of other body parts, and you can explain it in the same way when it comes to genitals, you know, because a lot of the time as adults we are conditioned to think about genitals only for sex, when in reality genitals are more often used for other functions like peeing. So explain to your child what is happening to their body when they ask about it, when they ask about changes as well, instead of turning away and being like, oh no, you'll learn about it when you grow older. No, satisfy the curiosity by giving answers that are adequate to their level of understanding, depending on their age and on their particular level of capturing information. Something that is also important in this methodology of sexual education is that we teach children about consent and boundaries. And although this sounds very heavy and with a lot of serious terminology, consent is basically what you are allowed and what you are not allowed to do. And if you're a child, if you have a young child that doesn't know the word consent, allowed and not allowed, they understand these concepts, right? And the same thing goes with what is public and what is private, what can be expected to be done in public and what can only be done in private, right? So in mindful sexual education, this is one of the concepts that we bring in, the concept of respecting ourselves and respecting others. Something that is also very important to keep in mind is that because sexual education is not just this direct verbal communication with children, and most of it is really through actions, then it is important to be aware of that, and that our facial reaction to certain things actually says more to the child than what we say about the subject. So, for example, the reaction that the adults have when a child shows some sort of sexual manifestation, and that can be, for example, children between the ages of about 3 and 5 to 6 years old, they're more prone to touching their genitals and stimulating them, and they do this when they're bored or before bed or when they're really concentrating, or when they're watching TV. So how adults in their lives react to this manifestation or expression of their sexuality will directly and deeply impact their relationship, the child's relationship with themselves, their bodies, this particular body part, and with the adult, right? Because there are different ways of dealing with the same situation. And finally, mindful sexual education is about sharing your family values, and whatever family values you have, it is about sharing those with your child. Again, not just in verbal communication, but through actions. So it is not enough to say, in this house we respect each other. If you say that, but then you have a disrespectful attitude towards your spouse or towards the child, then what you are saying and what you are doing, they're not matching. And what the child will take in the most, will absorb the most, is the message you convey through your actions instead of the message that you convey through your words. For example, if you tell your child that they are not, that smoking is bad, and when kids pick up pens and pencils and they pretend to smoke, because it is completely normal and healthy that kids imitate the behavior of adults, and this is part of their psychosexual development. And you see your child playing and pretending to be smoking, and you, as a parent, you are a smoker, and you tell your kid that that's not okay because they shouldn't smoke. We know through statistics that children of parents who smoke are, I don't know, I think it's 3 times more likely to smoke when they're teenagers than those who are from parents who don't smoke. Why? Because we are getting these messages of actions and not words, right? So this thing of do as I tell you, don't do as I do, now I can't think of the right way of saying it, is actually not effective at all, because we imitate actions. So this is what sexual education, mindful sexual education, is about. So it is about having a goal and a direction where you want to go with your child's sexual education. That should be to have a healthy and positive experience of sexual education. Understand and being aware of how you impact your child's psychosexual development, being body positive and being aware of how the body works. It's not enough to just say that it's pretty and precious, also how it works, what is allowed and what is not allowed, what respect and consent looks like, and how we must respect and treat our bodies, and also how as adults we have to learn how to deal with children's sexual manifestations, even though they may make us feel awkward for a number of reasons. This is not a good reason to give a child a negative experience of themselves and their bodies just because it makes us uncomfortable, right? So I hope this was helpful. DM me if you have any questions, or leave comments down below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.